Okay. Yes, I'm audible properly. Yes, thank you, Aditi. Okay, so last class we are discussing this poll question that RDBMS can it store and process location information? So you all said yes. Yes, even the online students they said yes because in DBMS we can store the location information. Okay, so next is again the slide itself talks about the answer that it can store any kind of data. So it is having tables and each row and column will store some data. With each record, we can also have its location information. So whenever the location is stored, the database will become huge. But at the same time, if you want to plot the points on the graph, it will go to its particular location. Okay, so it's not common for any table. See, when you are working on the data sets, you are working on very small databases, but generally in the DBMS or if any geographic study is being done, then there will be thousands of records. So you should be able to, a database should have the capability of working with thousands of records, that too with the location information. Okay. Now, what is meant by spatial databases and spatial analysis? If suppose we are able to store the location information, then we say it's the spatial database. Okay, so there are many ways of storing the location information. We can have various purposes for the same, like why we want to store the location information and how much precision is required, what kind of location information needs to be stored. Everything has to be defined in the beginning, then only we should create our database, and such databases are called our spatial databases because these spatial databases they store the spatial information. Okay, and suppose there are many phenomena in GIS, so these phenomena we should be able to study it using various techniques, and wherever required we have to install those techniques. In GIS also, QGIS software, it's a very heavy software. So in the beginning when you install, you will not have all the functionalities, but as and when we are using it, at that time you should, whatever plugins are required, you have to install and then use it. Okay, so for GIS software or GIS practical, you have to have the internet connectivity, otherwise you can't. Now I'll show you one video. Yes, students, please watch the video carefully.
What is GIS? GIS stands for Geographical Information System. Simply put, GIS is a business information management system that helps us capture, analyze, and present spatial information on a map. GIS allows us to make better decisions using geography. What can GIS do for you? Every day, millions of decisions are powered by GIS. Retailers use GIS to pinpoint the best locations for new stores and stock items that match local customers' needs. GIS is used by the conservation organisations to predict the likely consequences of global warming. Utilities organisations use GIS to respond promptly and efficiently to reported power outages. Police forces use GIS to discover patterns in criminal activity and plan operations much more strategically. Resulting patterns and trends can then be seen on a digital map, much easier than viewing the data on spreadsheets. How does a GIS work? GIS software runs on computers, ranging from the most powerful server to software on your mobile phone. In a GIS, information about the real world is stored as a collection of thematic layers linked by geography. Each layer contains similar features, such as streets or rivers. People can then analyze geographic data using GIS tools and visualize geographic data as maps, graphs, or charts. Patterns and trends can easily be identified, so information that was previously buried in a spreadsheet now comes to life. Let me give you some examples. Retailers like Nike and Levi Strauss use GIS to avoid making costly mistakes when opening new retail locations. The Department of the Environment uses GIS to manage conservation in our national parks, maintain the biodiversity of our landscape, and preserve our national monuments and sites of architectural heritage. GIS helps the Department of Education to make sure they provide the right number of school places for children in the right locations. The police service in Northern Ireland harness GIS to make smarter use of intelligence, which helps reduce crime and costs. In short, GIS allows us to make better decisions using geography. Complex analysis is made simple, and decisions become clear. At Esri Ireland, our business is built on the belief that knowing where things happen matters to your business. Maps make sense, and using them, we can help you make sense of your geographic information. To find out how maps can make sense for you or your organization, contact us at mapsmakesense@esri-ireland.ie.
Okay. So I hope you all watched the video very carefully. Okay. So basically, it was talking about the various applications where it can be used, like okay, so all of you watch the video carefully. So there's one concept called geodatabases. So geodatabases, what does it mean? It means a database that can store the geo-reference data. We say it's a geodatabase. So both systems share the very many characteristics are similar in geodatabases and GIS systems, but GIS is a bit different because geodatabases, they will be able to store large amount of information, basically your geo referenced information. Okay, so your location information, wherever any object is located, suppose you are putting a point, so you need only one location, but suppose you are putting a line, then you need two location. One is the starting point, one is the ending point. So with two locations you will be able to locate that object. You can draw a line on the map, but what happens if suppose that line is a wavy curved line or any random line, then how many locations we have to store? Isn't it a bit more complicated? Yes, if it's any random line, then how we are going to store? Because then there will be so many endpoints which we have to draw, and then we will be able to plot it again back to the screen. Okay, the database, it will be stored, but when we are plotting it back on the screen, it is very, very complicated. So all these things are taken care by the geo databases. What is GIS on the other hand? It is tailored to operate on special data. So all the special references, any kind of analysis that we want to do, that is also possible with the GIS system. So geo databases, they will be able to store the geographic information, but any GIS system will be able to use these geo databases, and they will be able to operate on it, do the analysis on it, or just even taking the data and plotting, converting it to a map, or taking the data and converting it into a pie chart, bar chart, or any kind of visual representation that we want. That can be done with the help of GIS system. So this is the difference between geo databases and GIS system. Okay, so with this we have completed this yesterday's lecture. Okay, so today's lecture I want to start. Some part of that lecture was remaining, so I just want to Okay, so today's lecture number 5, and I'll start with okay. So today we are going to start with lecture number 5. So what's the what topics that we are going to discuss today is what is mean by geographic phenomena, what is mean by computer representation, then what is mean by correlation and topology, then representation for fields and objects, and the temporal dimension, the time dimension of the data. So what we have discussed in the previous lecture is the key components of data quality and data quality parameters. So you have seen that the data should be complete, it should be consistent, it should be changes should be reflected in all the places. Okay, there has to be a logical consistency. So all these are possible if we are able to have a strong database at the backend, which will store the data, which will store even the relationships between the data. Just storing the data may go wrong, but if the data has to be logically correct, then has to be a logical relationship. So logical relationships between the data also needs to be stored, because if we store only just the location, then we may, when we are plotting it on the graph, it may go wrong. So which area is inside another area, or which is to the left, which is to the right, any kind of logical information also needs to be properly represented in the database. Then we have seen the real world and its representation, models and modeling. And for modeling, we are creating two types of models. Either we are creating a map or we are creating a database. Okay. So now, what is mean by geographic phenomena? Yes, what is mean by geographic phenomena, or what do you see from this diagram? This figure that is there on the screen. Yes, students, those are online, please reply. Otherwise, I don't know whether you are there or not with me. Please reply. What do you see in this particular figure that is there in the slide? It's okay. Yes, what do you see? What do you all see? See, this is the study of geographic phenomena. So, what first image, it shows the camera picture. Okay, camera picture is there. When we put it on the computer, then we have to convert it into a map. Okay, but when we are converting a real picture or a camera image into a map, so we cannot capture all the images, means we cannot capture all the features. Okay, there may be water, there may be land, there may be greenery, there may be population, there may be household income. So many things are there. What we can capture, we can only capture a few things and we can represent. So yeah, the real world picture may look somewhat like this, but when it is processed using a computer, then this picture may look somewhat like this, which is a realistic representation, but hardly only a very few features are being captured, not all. Okay, but suppose the picture is showing, suppose the evening time. Can you find out that what is this time on the graph? No. Okay, so it's, in this way, what I wanted to say is, even though we want to capture many features, but many features still it will remain uncaptured. Okay, it cannot be captured. Like suppose I want to find out what time the picture is being taken, whether it's morning or evening, I cannot find out from this computerized image. Okay, but then why I'm not storing it as a picture, but I'm storing it like this? Any idea? In GIS, suppose I'm taking a real world picture, capturing and storing it like this. Okay, so why I'm storing it like this? If I'm not able to get most of the information, why I'm not storing it as a picture only? What do you think? अगर मैं वैसा ही पिक्चर अगर GIS में स्टोर कर दी तो I would have got a better, more clear picture, right? So I am not storing. Any idea? More about location than the Yes. Good. One thing I like is saying that two-dimensional, because sometimes that image is three-dimensional. If I click, I have to represent it as two-dimensional, plus I have to study the features. Okay. Any other idea? Any other thing? Many geographic phenomena we are capturing. Okay, so see, basically, at least you people see. Okay, so why we are keeping, why we are storing it like this is because we have to do the study. Okay, तो ये जो picture है ना, इसमें हम लोग study नहीं कर सकते. Basically, we can't do any kind of study on this digital image. Okay, that is why we are converting it into this format so that we can study. And what all we can study, we can find out what is the area, what is the nearby areas, what is how much area is being captured, any information. Okay, we can find out any kind of information on that picture, earlier picture, sorry, this computerized picture. We can do the calculation, but if we are just clicking an image and storing it in database, we won't be able to do any kind of calculations. Okay, that's the only problem. Huh? ये ना यहाँ तक के नेट ही नहीं आता है. This is the problem. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. And now I hope this is clear that we are actually taking the real world pictures, but we are processing it using a computer. So it may not be having exactly the real world, but at least which phenomena we want to study, we are able to study it better if it is in the form of maps, okay, instead of a digital image. Now, what's a geographic phenomena? It's under we have to study everything and in the Euclidean space. Okay, so Euclidean space, it is the real world or the real space that we are observing. Okay, so any point, if it is represented on a two-dimensional surface, then we need only two coordinates x and y. But if it is represented in a three-dimensional surface, then we need three coordinates x, y, and z. So z can be the height, z can be the depth of the object. Okay, and there can be different things that we can find out in the Euclidean space, like we can find out what is where that point is located, what is its height from the surface of Earth. If there are 2 points, what's the distance between the 2 points in the Euclidean space? So it can be the distance on the two-dimensional surface, and it can be the actual distance if the object is present in the three-dimensional surface. So all these we can study in the geographic phenomena. Okay. So now, what does this show? This diagram, what it shows? Does it give you multiple informations? Yes, Is it giving you lots of information that you need to capture? Land use type, soil type, okay? What is the seashore line, then the surface, rock type, elevation, water body, water quality, lake and tourism sites, water temperature, okay, water pressure, biometric information, what's the air quality, air index. So if we want to capture, we will be having so many phenomena in this picture. So real world is complex. What we have to do, we have to find out some phenomena that we are going to capture in our study, and only those phenomena needs to be captured. So for each phenomena we have to create one layer, because in one layer of a map only one phenomena can be captured, and that too of only one type. Okay, we cannot have one phenomena which can be of point type, line type, like that we cannot capture. So one phenomena of one type. And suppose we are having buildings and restaurant, there has to be a different layer for those two phenomena, because if it is there, if the data types, or if you want to capture any phenomena and that is having some differences, then you should better create one more layer, like water pressure and air pressure. So you have to have different layers to display the water pressure and air pressure. Or suppose I'm saying restaurant and houses, so we have to have two layers. If I want to show row houses and apartments, so I should be creating two different layers. Okay, otherwise our calculations means initially we'll be able to work, but later on if you want to find out that how many restaurants are there and how many houses are there, how many apartments are there, this simple calculation also we won't be able to perform, because they are in the same layer. Okay, so because if you are performing any calculation using computerized method, then it has to be performed computerized. Then we should not do it manually, right? Manually we can count, but if we are using computer, then we have to use computer only. Right? Then only we say it's computerized, right? Okay, so this is another slide. What does it show? This particular figure, what it is showing? Yes, observe it carefully. Tell me what it is showing. Yes, online students, please answer. Otherwise, I don't know whether people are listening to me or not. You can actually unmute and answer. Otherwise, let me know in the chat box what it is showing. Yes, see, it is showing the building, Winslow building. Okay, so this Winslow building, it is having a geo reference. That means a latitude and longitude is showing in which year the building was built, in 1886. Okay, so is it a geographic phenomena? What do you think? Is it a geographic phenomena? Yes, it is a geographic phenomena, because every geographic phenomena, it has to means it has to satisfy certain conditions, like it can be named or described. Okay, every geographic phenomena, it can be named or described. So can this building be named or described? Yes, there is a name of the building, and or we can write a description also. So name and description can be geo-referenced. So is it geo-referenced? Yes, its location is specified. That's why it is geo-referenced, and can be assigned a time or time interval at which it was present, or that particular thing picture was taken, or this is valid. Okay, something related to time. If we can specify the time at which a picture is taken. So if we are specifying the temperature, we should also specify the date and time at which the temperature is collected. Otherwise, the data has no meaning for us. It's not valid. Okay, so I hope previous slide is clear to all. Yes, yes, student, is it clear to all? Have you understood? So let me go to the next slide. Okay, today online students are not replying. Okay, very good. Summary. Let me see how many of you are there with me replying. Have you understood this slide? It's quite simple. Okay, thank you. So many of you replied. Good. Feel happy. Okay, so next, what it says is, see, geographic phenomena are your fields and objects. Okay, so every point in the study area, it can be taken as a field. Like we can have temperature, biometric pressure, we can have the elevation. All these are our geographic fields. Okay, and they can be now three things should be valid for a geographic field. We should be able to name it, we should be able to specify its location and the time at which that thing was valid. So any kind of information like your temperature, biometric pressure, elevation, these are all geographic phenomena, because first of all we can name it, second we can specify its location, and third is we can specify the time at which that was valid. Okay, so it is all your geographic fields. Okay, and we are actually using the study area. So in a study area we are calculating the different informations. It can be seen, then the things can be of two types. It can be a natural phenomena, it can be the man-made phenomena. Natural phenomena basically about the environment, about the soil, about the population, animals. Okay, what type of species are present in any area, that can be your natural things. It can be the man-made information, like what kind of buildings, parks, roads are available. So all these are present, but is there any difference between a natural and a man-made phenomena? What do you think? Is there some difference between the natural phenomena and man-made phenomena? Yes. Just think and tell me, what's the difference? Man-made or man-made phenomena? ऐसा है क्या आंसर? बोलो. What is the difference between a natural phenomena and a man-made phenomena? Man-made phenomena can be very good. Natural phenomena. Long lasting. देखो प्लास्टिक तो मैनमेड फिनोमिना कितना टिकता है, चाइना का नहीं है ना, इसमें टिकता है. कोरोना देखो चाइना का प्रोडक्ट हो गया, भी कितना दिन टिका. बोलते तो चाइना का, बट वी डोंट नो चाइना का है कहाँ का है. एक्चुअली कोरोना इज वन टाइप ऑफ, क्या बोलते हैं, नहीं नहीं नहीं, मैनमेड या नेचुरल नहीं है. हाँ, नेचुरल और मैनमेड फिनोमिना में कुछ डिफरेंस बताओ, डिफरेंस। डिफरेंस क्या है? हाँ, करेक्ट करेक्ट, ये भी एक अच्छा पॉइंट है। ओके, तो मैनमेड फिनोमिना sometimes it is in our control, whereas naturally this volcanic eruption, okay, landslide, these are not in our control. Okay, what else? अच्छा पॉइंट सोचा, वेरी गुड। और क्या हो सकता है? स्लाइड पे भी लिखा है, उससे पढ़ के सोचो। समथिंग देयर इन द स्लाइड। यस, हाँ, man-made phenomena you can calculate it better compared to your natural phenomena. हाँ, ये एक point अच्छा है। What you say? You can, हाँ, man-made can be modified compared to the natural phenomena. We don't have any control over the natural phenomena. What else? People are all close to the answer. मतलब ये सब answers भी correct है, but I want a few more answers. Just think and tell me. What is natural phenomena? Just think, and what's the difference?
More plants than natural.
Yes. What else? We have come up with now 4 points. What else? सोचो, बस 4 हो गए। 5 points चाहिए ना, कम से कम 5 मार्क्स तो चाहिए। 5 मार्क्स 5 पॉइंट। ये ऑनलाइन वाले कुछ आंसर ही नहीं कर रहे। हाँ हाँ, दे आर आंसरिंग। आकाश तो अभी था ना लेक्चर में, किधर गया? नहीं था, बट अभी क्या आवाज सुनाई दे रही थी मुझे। आज नहीं है, मॉर्निंग से नहीं है, उधर ही बैठा होगा। देखो, सीसीडी में हो क्या आकाश? सीसीडी से कॉल क्लास में आओ। आकाश किधर हो? नो मैम। है? और क्या हो सकता है? Man-made phenomena you can manipulate. Natural man-made phenomena are not dynamic. Just sometimes most of the man-made phenomena are static. मीनिंग अच्छा पॉइंट होता है। मैं सोच रही हूँ उसका एग्जाम्पल क्या होगा। व्हाट आर द एग्जाम्पल? हो सकता है। हाँ हाँ, होता होगा, मैंने देखा पेड़ पेड़ के नीचे, मैंने कभी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं, बट पेड़ के नीचे अब टेम्परेचर अप डाउन होता है। होता पता नहीं। देखो, मैंने आम के पेड़ के नीचे बैठी होगी, वो नीम के पेड़ के नीचे बैठा होगा, हो सकता है। पता नहीं। Yes. See, what I was expecting is natural phenomena, na, they don't have a boundary. Whereas man-made phenomena, they have a very crisp boundaries. Okay, so that is a difference. Okay, because it's a man-made phenomena, so it cannot be unlimited. That's why they don't have a boundary. Matlab, this is also this is the fifth point. Okay. Okay, so one poll question for you all. अरे रुको, question तो बोलने दो. So, a geographic phenomena in which every point in the study area, a value can be determined. Okay, so is it a geographic field or geographic phenomena? Yes, I want all the online students to reply quickly. तुम लोग आंसर क्या है? मानसी ने बोल दिया मतलब खत्म. चलो अभी जल्दी जल्दी रिप्लाई करो. 30 seconds. Who want attendance? Let me know. किसको अटेंडेंस चाहिए यहाँ पे? जल्दी जल्दी अटेंडेंस दो. आदिति, निकिता, वैष्णवी, अथर्व, खुशी, जाहिद, Sakshi, Sathak, Akash. Yes, quickly reply to this poll question. Vishal, Soham. Yes, इतने लोगों को attendance मिलेगा. I want 27 replies quickly. Attendance चाहिए कि नहीं? Okay, so I am changing the question. Those who are answering, quickly reply. जल्दी reply करो, फटाफट. Okay, now geographic fields. So elevation is an example of geographic field because why it's called a geographic field? Because it is the measure of height. Okay, elevation is the measure of height at any place. If you walk also, then also it will show that you have walked so many steps. You have elevate means कितने steps आपने elevation किया है, कितना steps downward है, वो सब बताता है ना. आजकल Google is so fast. So what is elevation? Elevation is also a geographic field because its value keep on changing at any point of time. We can measure the value of elevation. So it's a geographic field. Okay. Now some other examples of geographic field, we can have the temperature, pressure, elevation. Means at any point of time, when if suppose we take any point, say x, y, okay, so we can find out a value at that point, and that value is called the value of that particular feature at that position. So we can represent it as f of xy. Okay, like if suppose our f of, we want to find out the elevation, so we can represent it using a function f of xy, correct? At any point of time. So if suppose we are having the starting point and ending point, so in between any points are present, we can just assume that it is uniform, and we can write a function to calculate the value at any other point in between the starting and the ending point, right? Like suppose you have always studied the slope of a line. Okay, geometry में तुम लोगों ने पढ़ा है ना, slope of a line. So if I have the starting position, ending position, I can plot the line. If I know the point and the slope, then also I can plot the line. Okay, and at any point of time, means at any point on that line, I can represent it correctly. Why? Because I know what's the starting and ending point, and I know the slope of the line. So same way, if you know the slope of any hilly area, then you know the starting and ending point. If any random point is given to you, you are given the slope, you can find out the slope using f of xy. So f of xy may be a complicated function, but for that study area, it may be valid. Okay. So now there are two types of geographic fields. One is discrete fields and one is continuous fields. Which are the continuous field? Means there is no, if there is a continuous field, means the value keeps on changing, but it will change very gradually. So it will not have any clear boundaries. Then we say it's a continuous field, whereas there are discrete fields. Discrete field means there are clear-cut boundaries for those phenomena. Okay, then we say it's a discrete field. Like if suppose we are displaying the points, then that is a discrete field. If we are displaying the road map, so road maps are discrete field because they are individual objects, and there is a clear-cut, you can say, the starting point, ending point for the roads. Whereas if we are displaying, if you are showing the soil type, so soil type is your continuous field because you will not see a exact boundary where one soil type is changed to another type. So at some point of time, at some point we have to draw the line. Okay, so these are the two types of fields. Now, yes. Okay, continuous fields. So the values keeps on changing very gradually, and at any point of time we have to just keep on measuring the value. Okay, so जैसे हमारा slope होता है ना, slope is a continuous field. Okay, continuous field में क्या होता है, we have to have the gradient and or we can say the change of slope. Same way, if suppose it's your temperature, temperature is also continuous because we don't know where the boundary is and where one value changes into another value. Okay, sometimes now we'll also discuss about the discrete fields, and later on we'll discuss about what kind of boundaries are present. Boundaries also are of different types. Okay, so if I saying, say suppose soil type, so at some places the soil type is having a crisp boundary, at some places it is not having a crisp boundary. Okay, but again depends on different areas. Some areas they have a red soil. Okay, some areas they have this brown soil, gray soil, depends on what kind of area it is. Now what is discrete field? Yes, it's divided into exclusive boundaries. So one location may be having one phenomena, and if I go to the next area, means boundary के बाहर अगर हम लोग जाते हैं तो the phenomena will change. Okay, so we call it as a discrete field. Okay, so the clear cut out boundaries are present, and which are the examples? So here they have taken the examples of soil type, land use type, geological classes. Okay, if you see the fields which are for used for cultivation, so the fields are also having the clear cut boundaries, isn't it? Because they make the boundaries and they grow one type of crop in those boundaries. Your natural vegetation, crop type, they are all having the crisp boundaries. Okay, then okay, so I'll show you one video on data types of data. Yes, Chloe. Yes, yes. Danger. Okay, so we'll continue further in the next class. Only 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes are there. Okay, I'll just check whether there's any quiz or not for this lecture. कल का मैंने quiz डाला था क्या? Okay, so just thank you, students. Remaining will study in the next class. So if you are any quiz or anything is pending, you can just continue attempting those quiz.